Any pony would be joyous if they had a room like Diamond Tiara. It wasn't just pink and purple walls, which towered over her, with the massive space her bed took up, or the incredibly soft duvet which she could stay asleep in forever. There was a dollhouse. The dollhouse was perfection. It had sparkles which rivaled the shine of Princess Celestia herself. It had characters which could go on head to head against other fashion designers. And it also filled up a large section of Diamond Tiara's room, which makes the dollhouse massive, considering Diamond Tiara had the biggest room on the third floor. The house wasn't the only new attraction in her room. Spoiler Rich had the company make a custom-made miniature house beside it, along with a schoolhouse. Just a simple glaze at the entire thing would be enough to make the most dismissive filly of all of Equestria let out a shriek of delight, which was exactly what Diamond Tiara had shrieked in delight when she saw in her room. She would immediately spend the bulk of her time on the dollhouse, and focus most of her time on the characters inside it. She enjoyed doing a multitude of activities alongside it, brushing the hair of the smaller fillies, pairing up the mares and stallions together, or narrating the life of each and every pony in the house. She couldn't picture a better life in that house than anywhere else in Equestria. The only problem was that, aside of being fun with one player, the dollhouse was specifically made for more than one fit to play on it. It wasn't that she wanted to play it alone. Her mother didn't allow anyone of a lower class inside the room. She had had it for a couple of years now, but her interest in the house never faltered. It may have lost its shine, but it was still a small sparkle in Diamond Tiara's heart. She would even talk alone and talk about her characters at her kindergarten. Much of the disinterest of the other ponies, she would have definitely tried to talk about a dinner with her family, if she were allowed to speak. She had been told with every detail in it, and every single time she had played with these characters, it felt like a new experience. She made sure to play with it each and every day. Of them two, she loved them enough to give them their own name and personality. It wouldn't be a lie to say she didn't have a favorite character, though. The special filly's name was Allone. She was pink, too. She had large room on the third floor. Every day would be the same with Allone. Allone would go outside and greet the other ponies. First, before she went to school. She was the smartest, most beautiful, and sporiest filly in the school, and she was friends with every pony in there. Even the teachers loved her. She would also host a party every day, and a character would attend for her. Allone was perfect, and so was Diamond Tiara. Diamond Tiara was a bit older now. She'd been going on Ponyville Schoolhouse for almost 5 months now, and had also started to gain an interest of her father's job. This also meant her love for childish things abruptly stopped. That didn't mean the dollhouse wasn't her favorite object in her room. She still loved it with all her heart. So instead of performing childish acts on her dollhouse, she came up with mature ideas to satisfy her growing mind. At first, it was a smart idea to replace the role of her character in the fantasy world with people in the real world. Allone was Diamond Tiara, of course. She had first thought of it as cheap fun. Then she loved placing Apple Bloom inside the mini pond from time to time, or every time. It was also fun seeing Allone constantly being flogged with ponies. She realized sooner than enough that if she were to truly have friends with every pony in her fantasy dreamland, she would also have to be friends with the Q-Mark Crusaders, which was something her mother, simply refused for her to be. If her mother had even suspected Diamond Tiara would have friends such as ponies in real life, like the Q-Mark Crusaders, she wouldn't speak to her for months. She quickly came to the conclusion that she needs to find another way to spend her time. She had thought numerous times to invite Silver Spoon to her house, yet the gut feeling that Silver Spoon would be weirded out that her best friend was still playing with a dollhouse protruded her mind. Her worry finally came to an end when her mother had disapproved Silver Spoon to enter the house at all. Although being the daughter of a upper-class pony, her father had married one of the middle class. She wouldn't budge when Diamond Tiara had dropped to her knees and begged for some contact. And her mother had screamed at her when Diamond Tiara told her Silver Spoon was going to be here in 5 minutes. She'd been locked inside her room by her mother shortly afterwards. Her tears had already dried out after she had forcibly put on a happy face when telling Silver Spoon that she was busy with her family. In reality, she was back to playing in the dollhouse. The motivation of playing had sapped completely out of her, though her mother's mini tirade, she had said some remarks which hurt like a punch in the gut. It wasn't like she wanted to spend time with Allone. Sometimes when the curtains were closed, Diamond Tiara liked talking to Allone. It was usually one-time thing, but her father barely talked to her, and her mother rarely spoke to her at all anymore. So let's see. Sometimes she would wondered if she even had any real friends anymore. So as her father got more and more distant, and her mother became increasingly disappointed, and her classmates became more against Diamond Tiara, she unconsciously started talking to Allone more and more, until it turned into a regular basis in her daily routine. For hours at a time, Diamond Tiara whispered to Allone after school. It was then spiraled into overnight sessions with Silver Spoon to stop being her friend. Conversations usually began with a monologue about her day, and then what she didn't enjoy about on the day. Allone was wordlessly listening, and somehow still soothed her inner wounds with non-existent words of comfort. She had needed someone to talk to for so long, and she finally found something. She loved it. It was her secret addiction to have some pony, something, who would finally listen and let her speak. It was also somewhat like a new experience to her, so she made sure to cherish every conversation they had. The topics became increasingly varied. She started talking about Allone, all sorts of things, what food she ate, or what she didn't eat, randomly trivial questions, even about her favorite colors of the rainbow. She also brought along to school sometimes. Whenever she felt the eyes burning through her body, or the whispers which blared in her ears, she would just put Allone on her hooves and talk to her. It helped take her mind off of other ponies, who would only stare harder at Diamond Tiara talking to her figurine. At this point, she didn't care what other ponies would gossip about. Anyways, the conversations she had with Allone were better than the ones she had with Silver Spoon and her own family anyways. She was happier coming home to see Allone than her own family. Her mother snapped Allone in half right in front of her very eyes. Rumors spread fast about her talking to a figurine, and it must have reached the rich household. Because her mother had someone inside the room, screamed for the toy. Diamond Tiara went to scream out as her mother forcibly took Allone out of her hooves. She hadn't opened her mouth in so long, though, she forgot what her own voice sounded like. She didn't know how to scream. She didn't expect Allone to be so brittle, and she didn't expect the snap to feel so excruciating. Her mother had gritted out a few more words, and just as quickly as she had entered the room, she had left with Allone. A heavy silence was all that remained, along with the thick atmosphere which was slowly suffocating her. Hey guys, Professor Amber's here. So I hope you guys enjoyed that story. The end was kind of, well, it was kind of, it was really hard for me to think about that, honestly. But her mother snapped Allone in half in front of her very own eyes. That kind of made me feel a little, well, honestly, made me feel a little bit insecure about my own kind of figurines. But I know they're metal and plastic, so they really can't be broken that easily. The middle of them can't be, anyways. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, honestly, until that one line. But, anyways, I believe some of this was because I was kind of feeling the same kind of vibe. I kind of felt sad listening to it myself. And no, it wasn't narration, it was just a little book that I've been reading for a while. And this one chapter, this one part, actually gave me a bit of a, you know, a bit more of a inside look of what I've done. So I honestly don't know how to express anything else. Honestly, it's been hard for me to really explain some of this stuff that I've been going through. But I've got over it. I've got through it. I've buried my feelings deep inside, and I've gotten over it eventually. You guys have stuck with me through all that, and you have actually made me feel more secure about who I am and how this is for me, the life that I'm living right now. The things that I tell you guys is stuff that I wouldn't even tell my own family or friends. I don't think that you guys would ever abandon me, honestly, because you're the only family I think really matters with YouTube and with the community that I'm building. And I don't say this enough. I know I never say this enough, but you guys are a family to me, and that's all that matters. That story was kind of like a representation of what it's like on YouTube. People snap it in half. People snap my dreams of being a YouTuber in half. I don't expect it to be that brittle, but it is. I expect you guys to be the best of the best. And I don't mean that like I expect you guys to do whatever I say. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm expecting you guys to know that I'm here for you if you need me. You're there for when I need you. You know, it just goes in a cycle. A good cycle that people know that I'm there for them. They're here for me. People always say, "Yeah, I've got your back. I've got you covered." You know, I'm your friend. You know, I can do this for you. But they never really stick with you for real. Every pony tells me that they're always my friends. They're always my buddies. They're always they're with me all the way. But then they walk away from me when things get tough, and that's what really aggravates me a little bit. Every time, every time I think of someone doing that to me, I just break down and cry because I know it's true. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. But anyways, I've gone on too long. Anyways, guys, this is Professor Amber signing off until next time.